Hi there, listeners. Austin here, and I'm very happy to be bringing you the second episode of Fiction in a Flash. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy. The Mother. The mother. She huddles over the lifeless body of her only son. Below her, his body riddled with bullet holes, blood draining into a crimson pool of plasma and gravel, the ashen sidewalk soiled and stained a deep russet. Her son used to ride his bike up and down this street for hours on end in the summers of his youth. She would occasionally sit on her porch with a glass of wine and a cigarette. She would watch him. She could still see his pearlescent smile as he jumped the cracks in the sidewalk. She could still hear the faint echo of a basketball bouncing in her driveway. She would enjoy seeing a life being lived, a life she created, a life she nurtured, a life she protected with every fiber of her being. She could still hear his voice. Tears well in her eyes. They drip onto his cold, placid face. He looks so unfamiliar to her now. Bawling and gasping, her emotions asphyxiate and exhaust, her face a frightful and bewildering red, her eyes bloodshot and bustling with veins all too close to bursting, and her brain burns with bitter rage. She wails and howls into her deceased son's ear as if he could hear her if she just cried loud enough. Speechless spectators stand mystified, forming a protective ring around the rightfully distraught mother and her son, each of them reminiscing fondly and somberly about their own families, loved ones, and their own mortality. Some bystanders even begin to cry in solidarity with the unfortunate mother and her untimely son. The mother, finally able to breathe enough to speak, asked with confused tears, "Why?" No one in the crowd dared to answer or even had an answer to give. The mother pounded her fist on her son's chest as her confusion twisted and contorted into a righteous fury. "Why?" she cried. "Why?" But again, the crowd remained silent. Tear streaks staining her face like raindrops on a clouded window pane. She turned to the heavens and pleaded, "Why?" She scanned the indifferent white clouds. Why, God? Why him? And again, she was met with a stoic silence. Sirens are heard in the distance. The crowd melts away, red and blue flashes on her face as the sun hides in the horizon. She never stopped asking why. It was her first thought every day when she woke up. It was her last thought every night before she fell asleep. When she slept, she was tortured with dreams of better days when her son was still alive and well and with her and in her arms. She managed to accept the death as quickly as any mother could, but she could never accept the murder. She searched day in and day out as to why her son was gunned down. Weeks of police investigations yielded no results. They told her it must have been a drug deal gone wrong, like so many of the other murders in their neighborhood. However, she and the police had no evidence to prove that was the case, just an impoverished neighborhood on the wrong side of town. The side that tends to attract the worst kind of people. She tried to accept their explanation and turned her bagged eyes toward the school system. She believed if they would have done a better job at educating young people, her son would still be alive. If they were shown a way out, maybe, just maybe, none of this would have happened. If they would have shown the country cares about their lives, they wouldn't do their best to destroy another's. These thoughts would not set her mind at ease. Eventually, she realized only one person was to blame. Her sadness morphed into anger, then into a morbid, depressive, corrosive curiosity. All she wanted was an answer, a simple answer to a not-so-simple question. Why? She no longer cared if the shooter went to prison, it would not bring her son back. She no longer cared to face the person in court, it would not bring her son back. Nothing would bring her closer to comfort. Nothing would bring her son back. All she wanted was to look into the eyes of the monster that left her with only memories of motherhood in an empty room in the back of her home, collecting dust on a forever wrinkled comforter and light bulbs that would never go out, that would never die because they would never be used again. She would stand tall, her chin high, her shoulders back, her hands clenched and at her sides, and without fear, she would ask one question. The one profound question that keeps her awake at night. The only question that mattered to her. Why? She was never allowed the chance to ask. She was never given an answer. She never found an answer. She did find a way out, though. Through her constant pain and anger, she found an escape. She found a remedy to her melancholy. She left the world with a fire in her soul, a hole in her heart, and a gun scraping away at her palate. Thank you so much for listening. That was The Mother, written by me, for you. If you enjoyed yourself, hit the subscribe button, maybe throw it a like, maybe comment. If you have any suggestions or concerns about it, please just let me know. I'll read everything.